What's the saddest thing someone told you before dying? He wants to pass it home with his family around him. But what if? What if? What if? She stammered. Her body was shaking, her beautiful face twisted with doubt and anxiety. I thought of her, and her love for her grandfather. I realized that if he died in our home that morning, she would always blame herself. She would never have closure on whether or not she could have done something more. I looked into his eyes. He looked downward and nodded his head without saying a word. Neither of us had spoken. I went to the telephone and called the paramedics. They arrived shortly afterward. Her grandfather was calm and assisted them as best he could getting up onto the gurney. He smiled at everyone, including me. I felt as though I had betrayed him and did not deserve his generous forgiveness. I had made a conscious choice in favor of my wife's tender conscience over his final wishes. I knew it was the only choice I could make, but it grieved me to make it. 45 minutes later, I arrived at the hospital. He was in the cold, sterile emergency room, surrounded by strangers, with tubes in his nose, needles in his arms, strange, incomprehensible voices shouting urgent commands filling his ears, and bolts of electricity jolting his chest. It was where he initially didn't want to die, but seeing his daughter like that, he changed his mind. There was one point when I was the only person in the room with him. My wife and kids were out with the doctor. As I was sitting beside him on his bed, he said something to me. It was the first time I had ever heard him say a sentence in English. It was broken English, but I knew what he was trying to say. Thank you for choosing my granddaughter. Cherish your time. Make it beautiful. He gave me a final nod. I don't think I needed to respond. In an instant, the monitor started beeping, and I was asked to leave the room. 5 minutes later, a doctor emerged and said he had passed it. I turned and walked out into the parking lot and burst into tears. Please, I ask that you cherish your life and enjoy what you have in front of you. Love your parents. Love yourself. Love everyone in your life. Love and appreciate the present moment, because you never know when it will be too late. Cherish your time. Make it beautiful.